Hello everybody, meteorologist Greg D here. I want to give you a quick update before our shows start on this Friday morning on what's going on out there in the Atlantic Ocean. So we still have this potential tropical cyclone number 9. And the reason it's a potential cyclone is because it hasn't developed yet, but it's so close to land that the Hurricane Center had to start issuing watches and warnings. And you can only do that when you actually put a label on this. So there it is, moving northwest at 3, loose center of circulation. And that's really the problem with this thing. Where the center is will determine where the models take it. Now, the cone here still takes it through Florida, portions of our area, and then up the East Coast. But the range here is really from anywhere offshore out towards maybe the Tampa Bay area. And some of the models have the low tracking right over us. Whatever happens, none of the models really turn this into much of anything unless it stays completely offshore and then goes out to sea. Then it could become a hurricane. Otherwise, close interaction to land and any farther west movement would mean a weaker system here. I'm not very concerned about it right now. I think at worst it's going to be a rainy weekend for us. For the east coast of Florida, tropical storm watches are up. They're up from the Jupiter Inlet to the Volusia Brevard County line. And of more importance, the northwest Bahamas are under tropical storm warnings. That's Grand Bahama and the Abacos. They are all under tropical storm warnings as tropical storm conditions are expected there in the next 24 to 36 hours. So there's our system here. Behind it, 2 more areas that we're watching, by the way. Updates on those coming up during the show in the 5 o'clock hour. Potential tracks for this system, well, models still have it all over the place from the Florida Peninsula to up towards the Carolinas as maybe a depression or tropical storm. If it does track over Florida, it would be a weaker system. Here is the European model, which has trended offshore with this whole time. Saturday, this is Sunday. Notice Monday, it still stays offshore. By Tuesday, it's likely a hurricane, according to the Euro, and it takes it completely away from Florida. Now, on this track, if it does stay offshore like this is the big problem with the forecast for the weekend. We would almost get no rain. The only way we're going to have a rainy weekend here in the Bay Area is if this thing tracks right over the Florida Peninsula. And that, to me, honestly, is looking less and less likely. Here's a comparison between the European and the GFS. The European in white, the GFS in red. Notice the European really spins out a center of circulation offshore. The GFS barely has a low, and that's why it takes it farther west into Florida. And on that track, it would be a weaker system, with the European taking it offshore and away from us by the start of next week. A lot to digest here. A 5 a.m. update coming up during the show here on ABC Action News. Good morning, Tampa Bay. I'll be posting that on Twitter at Greg D Weather and on my Facebook page. And of course, if you've got any questions, post them there. We'll do another one of these videos coming up in the 8 o'clock hour before 9 o'clock, and then again mid-morning as another update comes in at 11 o'clock from the National Hurricane Center. We'll see you starting at 5 on Good Morning Tampa Bay.